in a swamp, which is awesome. I decided on the area I mentioned earlier, as it was in a large oak forest, had a wide river biome running between it, and it also opened up to an ocean with a beach where there were also rare Pokemon I needed to find. After finally settling on a place to build my lab, I caught a Skrelp before getting started on clearing some trees and building my lab. After setting up a temporary storage area, I caught another Chespin before continuing on with construction through the night, where I also caught an Abra and an Ekans. I spent the better part of the next 6 Minecraft days messing with the overall layout of the lab before settling on a pretty simple design. I wanted the building to kind of feel like it could be part of a Pokemon game, so I shaped it to kind of resemble a Pokemon Center. I said kind of. I placed a wooden Pokeball pattern on the floor to try and stay on that theme. I wanted the pattern to show up on the map without having to put it on the roof as well, so I grabbed some sand to make glass so I could put a skylight in instead. I added a healing center with a PC behind a counter to mimic the inside of a Pokemon Center and decorated that with some flower pots. I then decided I wanted to add an actual laboratory below the main floor where I could have my fossil restoration station alongside a display room for all the cool and unique Pokemon items I found during my journey. So I started building the staircase down and clearing out an area for that. During the time I spent building my lab, I only found 3 new Pokemon, Ninetales, Whirlipede, and a Pumpkaboo to bring my total to 347. After building the staircase down into what will eventually be my fossil lab, I knew I wanted to make the walls, floors, and ceilings primarily white. I didn't want to have to mine a ton of quartz in the nether to make quartz blocks for the entirety of the room, so I decided on using calcite instead. I looked on the map for any chunks of calcite I could see and went on a little journey to get some. While I was out getting calcite, I caught a Berserker, a Mr. Mime, and a Mastiff to bring my total to 350. Once I returned to the lab, I realized I wasn't able to turn the calcite I'd collected into a polished version with a stone cutter or furnace like I had planned. That's when I remembered I could make white concrete out of sand, gravel, and white dye, so I went to the dark forest biome from earlier to grab some gravel and sand. While I was there, I managed to get a Mimikyu, another ghost-type Pokemon I hadn't caught yet. I returned to the lab to continue digging out the lower area before catching a Rowlet that spawned in the forest outside. After mining out more of the fossil room, I grabbed some basalt from the nether to use as pillars to offset the plain white concrete. I spent a lot of time going back and forth between my lab and the nether, gathering materials while also digging out and building more of the lab. I also had to make a quick stop at the caves near the Apricorn farm to mine redstone to make the redstone lamps. While I was down there, I managed to catch a Sableye as well. On my next visit to the nether gathering materials, I finally found a Pokemon I had looked for before but was never able to find. No way. No way, let's go! Nice! Let's go. I also caught a Salazzle shortly after to bring the total to 355. On day 86, I evolved the Charmander I caught into Charmeleon and gave it the EXP share. I was also able to catch a Lilligant and a Yanma. After spending some time leveling Charmeleon up around the Apricorn farm, I was able to evolve it into a Charizard before also catching a Sudowoodo later on. Back at the lab, I started working on decorating the display room and fossil restoration area by placing some of the Pokemon-themed decorative pots I had been collecting throughout my travels. I also crafted my first few display cases that I'd put in the room below. Over the next few days, I spent some time digging out the remainder of the basement area and worked on filling in the walls of the display room and fossil lab. During those days, the only new Pokemon I managed to catch was a Golbat. At the end of day 90, another new ultra rare Pokemon spawned. Yo, let's go.
Yeah, there we are, Sobble.
Awesome. With 2 new ultra rare spawns added since I started working on my lab, my plan of building in an area where I needed a bunch of the rare Pokemon was working. The back and forth between the nether for quartz to use in the ceiling as well as the caves near the Apricorn farm for redstone continued. During this time, I caught a Shiftry, Glimmet, and a Roggenrola before filling in the rest of my ceiling lights.
That looks good, right?
Yeah, that looks pretty good. That same day, I found out I could shear sheep Pokemon, which is so cool to me, I don't know why, it just is. I went around shearing Pokemon and sheep to make red carpets to place on the lab and display room floor. I then started building display tables and shelves where I could place all the display cases I was about to make. I spent the night crafting display cases before running into a Porygon, a Pokemon that only spawns in the vicinity of a PC. After catching the Porygon, I also wandered into a shiny Caterpie.
Oh, that is cool.
I spent most of the next day filling up the display room before catching a Trevenant in the evening. Over the next few days, I got busy doing a bunch of things again. I went to the jungle to clear out some trees and caught a Leafeon.
Nice.
I also started hunting Abra at night for Ender Pearls and caught a Clefable as well. I searched around for fossil structures and dig sites and managed to find a couple I hadn't dug up yet. A plume fossil and an old amber.
No way.
In the Yellowstone biome, I came across a wild Ursaluna, which I was able to catch to bring my total to 370 Pokemon. I thought the biome was neat, so I left